Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC, a weekly podcast and YouTube channel discussing everything Wrexham from the point of view of long-term fans and brand new fans like my wife. So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 45 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Straight in. Bang.
Straight in, bang.
So just a couple of congratulations to get out of the way first. Not get out of the way, that sounds awful, but just some congratulations to sort of do. First one is Rosie Hughes. So we want to talk about the women's team a little bit. So Rosie Hughes won the Janeiro Adran North Player of the Season, which is massively deserved. Well done to you for that. Amber Lightfoot won the Young Player of the Season in the Janeiro Adran North. Steve Dale won Manager of the Season. Del Morgan and TJ Dickens were in Team of the Season alongside Rosie and Amber. So that is a huge congratulations
well done,
to all four of you.
We are smashing the awards this year, aren't we?
We are indeed.
We
yes.
are amazing.
I said four
I say
of you.
we.
That's five, isn't it? Five, sorry.
I
Not
don't know, I
four
wasn't
of
counting.
you. Yeah.
Can I just rep in the old Wrexham Lager shirt?
Yes.
And it has, do you recognise it?
I do recognise it,
This
yes.
was yours when you were a kid.
Yeah, it was. I think
it fits me at 40.
Yeah, I think it was the 92-93 season. It's the old Wrexham Lager red shirt. And
It's got the 1873 on the badge.
It's got the 1873 badge on it, yes.
This is like proper retro.
Yeah, it is. And you've nicked it. You've nicked my childhood.
I went all the way to your mum and dad's to get it.
Yeah, my childhood memorabilia has been pilfered by my wife to wear on a podcast. But no, yeah, looks good on you. Well done. Just another congratulations that I wanted to sort of throw out as well. Not really Wrexham related, but football related. I wanted to say congratulations to Steve Cooper, who has been at Wrexham in the past in a coaching capacity, but is now the manager of Nottingham Forest. Everyone sort of said they were going to get relegated from the Premier League, and against all odds,
they showed them.
Yeah, yesterday they beat Arsenal to guarantee their place in the Premier League. So just wanted to say congratulations to Steve Cooper, who actually still lives in Wrexham.
He lives in Gresford, actually.
He lives in Marford.
Oh, for
actually,
crying out loud.
Yes, he does. So I often
Gresford, Marford, they're all the same thing.
I'll often see him walking through the streets and stuff. The streets of Marford.
The ghetto of Marford.
Yeah, no, he lived there. He's lived there for years. So congratulations to Steve.
And also quickly, Nico Williams, a local lad. He plays for Nottingham Forest, although he's out of the season at the moment because he broke his nose, didn't he? So
he's injured at the moment. Yeah,
the broken nose.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Did you not see the pictures?
No, I didn't really.
Anyway,
no. Just a quick one about the women. I just wanted to ask you. I thought about the question while I was reading everything out. Obviously, you're 40.
Thanks.
Do you think, with everything that's happening with the women's team at the moment, do you think if you were younger, it might sort of spur you to do something?
What, to play football? You mean?
Let's say you were at the 14, 15.
Oh,
I know it's a long time ago.
I don't remember when I was 40.
Yeah.
Probably, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't a very sporty child. I was good at tennis and netball, but
yeah, football wasn't really a thing when you were a kid, though, was it, for girls? Not massively.
No, not at all.
So yeah.
Well, actually, there was a girl in my class in high school who used to play football.
Was there? Anyway, I was just wondering really if it would, because I'm sure it's inspiring lots of girls.
Oh gosh, I know loads of loads of mums that have got daughters who play football now. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And how it's taken this long for Wrexham women's to be, get their notoriety. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I think with a lot of money goes into the men's game, doesn't it? And I think I think a lot of clubs maybe run quite close to the wire for funding as to paying players and stuff like that. And maybe historically, as we well know with Wrexham, perhaps there hasn't been the sort of any sort of spare funding to fund a
there was
women's
nearly not
team.
enough money to pay the men's team.
Exactly,
so,
and I
guess.
think that's what.
Yeah.
And I think they've always looked at it as, you know, a case of people will always say that's unfair, you know, men and women equal, all that sort of thing. But what you've got to bear in mind,
football was always a man's sport, wasn't it?
Not only that, the men's team were obviously bringing in X amount of money to start something from scratch. You're not going to be bringing in that much money, so it perhaps looked like a little bit of a loss you'd be making on that. So you'd have to have the money spare to invest to start something, which we now do, and they're doing amazingly.
Well, I think every, you know, Man United, Man City, Arsenal women's teams are all doing so well. So big up the women.
Yeah, big up the women.
Big up the women.
We just wanted to mention as well. We're getting quite bored of not having any football.
I'm getting, and literally, even watching it on TV is going to be over soon.
I know. Yeah, we've literally watched every playoff game this week, just for a bit of football fix. You know, and it's some of the games have been amazing. Especially the Sheffield Wednesday game was just
amazing,
fantastic. Some of them, not a little bit dull. They were very much on in the background, some of them, because not a lot happened. So because we've missed out on our football fix, we went to the Etihad yesterday.
We had a tour on the Etihad.
It was amazing.
It was so good.
We thought,
do you know what? I've got so many ideas for the Wrexham Football Club now. Like, honestly, come to me. I've got so many ideas.
We thought we'd scope out our future opposition maybe in 5 years' time when we're in the Premier League.
We went through the tunnel.
Yeah, down by the pitch.
We sat in Pep Guardiola, whatever his name is.
Guardiola,
seat that he'll be sitting in today.
Yeah. Yes.
Definitely recommend it, even if you're not a Man City fan, because we're not Man City fans.
We're not Man City fans. The reason we went is our son has got a season ticket at Wrexham. Although he's got a little bit of a fascination with Man City. Now, he's only 11, and I dare say the reason he's got a bit of a fascination is they win all the time. And I think he's quite interested. Wrexham win all the time, but I think some of his friends in school are sort of Arsenal fans and Spurs fans. Yeah. So I think he's just got this little bit of a fascination. So we thought we'd go and have a look, and it was great.
I think he was a bit overwhelmed by it all.
He was a little bit, but it was fantastic. It was a great day out.
Definitely, like I said, even if you're not a Man City fan, definitely, I recommend it.
Do you think Wrexham should be doing tours?
100%. 100%. Even though we go to the ground pretty much every weekend for the games, it'd just be nice to have a little nosy. Because like when we went in the changing room of Man City yesterday, it was like so surreal to know that today... that we were sitting in Haaland's seat. Sorry, Sunday. You know, Haaland will be sitting in his seat, and Stones and Edison and Foden, all them people will be sitting in their seats, and we sat in them on Saturday.
You had a little picture in Grealish's seat.
I did. Do you know what? I've actually looked at him. He's not that good looking. I don't know why I got so thingy about him.
I don't know.
Anyway, so recommend it, but I definitely think Wrexham should, and maybe that's something they've got in the pipeline once.
Maybe. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring right now, right? If you do start doing tours, I'd love to be a tour guide. I would love to do it. And I would be a very good one. So this is my job application to become a tour guide at Wrexham AFC when you decide to.
So Ryan and Rob, if you're watching.
Yes,
because we know you do watch.
I'll take that. I've got my CVs ready. Just give me a shout. Let me know. You know, look at me. Who wouldn't want to listen to this guy talking for an hour?
There is one guy who said that you're annoying, but you can be.
Anyway, okay, so a few people have asked about the TST, so the soccer tournament, which is taking place in North Carolina. Okay, the place it's either Cary? I don't know.
Oh, so you know what it is, you just don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, it's Cary. But I don't know.
Cary sounds like.
See, I would say Cary is C-A-R. Oh God, now you've introduced the sound into it. Anyway, it's in North Carolina.
Some place called beginning with C.
Yeah, so it's a 7v7 tournament. There's 32 teams who've been invited to play, and it's on between the 1st and 4th of June.
Which is not that far away, is it?
It's not. That's why I wanted to talk about it today. The prize money, it's winner takes all. No second place prize, nothing like that. And it's $1 million.
Isn't Ryan,
$1 million.
Isn't Ryan and Rob playing in this?
Well, I'll come on to that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just stealing my thunder. So 8 groups of 4 teams. Each team plays each other. So that's 3 games in total would be a 4-team group.
Thanks for that, maths.
And that happens on the 1st and 2nd of June. So everyone will play their group games on the 1st and 2nd of June.
So that's a week on Wednesday, Thursday?
I don't know. I just know dates. Don't throw days at me as well.
Well, the 29th's a Monday, so it's 31 days, so it's probably Thursday, Friday. Yeah. I don't know.
So 2 from each group goes through to the knockout stages. So very similar to a World Cup. Anyone who's watched the World Cup, you get all your groups. The people in the group play each other. The top 2 from that group progress to the knockout stages. Very much like the World Cup. So the knockouts are the 2nd and 3rd of June. So group games 1st and 2nd. I think the group games finish in the morning, early afternoon of the 2nd. The knockouts start the evening of the 2nd and the 3rd. And then the final is on the 4th.
God, that's quite a quick turnaround, isn't it?
I don't think they're long games. They're not playing 90 minutes. It's only 7 on 7. It's a bit like when I was a kid, we used to have 5-a-side tournaments. Because I used to play for Brickfield, and then Brickfield used to send a couple of teams to 5-a-side tournaments.
You've never mentioned that.
Oh, God. 5-a-side tournaments.
Yeah.
And they used to take place in a day. So, and this is 7 versus 7, and they're spread it. I think, if anything, they're over-egging it 4 days, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, they'll stretch it out.
Yeah. So the Wrexham Red Dragons group, that's what they're called, by the way. So it's Como 1907. They're an Italian Serie B team. Do you know Cesc Fabregas?
I wouldn't know him if you walked past me in the street, but I've heard of the name.
Okay,
yes.
So that's his team.
Okay. So is he the manager, is he?
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he might have a little play. To be honest, he's a
little play.
A little play. He's not old. So yeah, maybe. Also in the group are the US women.
Good.
That'll be a tough game, that will, because they're decent.
What, USA women?
Yeah, they're good. And Sayward FC.
They're such bizarre names.
Sayward FC are now I do apologise if I get this wrong, because I have read it and some of it's stuck. I think they're celebrating historical black colleges within North Carolina and also the rest of America. If I have got that wrong, I sincerely apologise. But
sounds good.
I think that's what they're set up for. So there are some big teams here. So there's teams in other groups. So you got Borussia Dortmund, massive. You got Wolves and West Ham from English leagues. Hapoel Tel Aviv, ever heard of them from Israel? No, okay. And then Charlotte FC.
I know that Charlotte's in North Carolina, isn't
yes, but they're from the MLS.
We've got some family in South Carolina, Simpsonsville.
Simpsonsville.
I don't know how far North and South Carolina are to each other.
I'm guessing they're joined.
Yeah.
But
I mean, where?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, North Carolina and South Carolina are definitely joined together.
Do you think?
Yeah, okay. I don't think there's like another state in between them,
or a river or something.
Mid Carolina or anything like that. It will be televised, but details of that are going to be released soon, I believe.
So if it's how far ahead of North Carolina, or behind, or
I would guess 5 hours, because to be honest, anything mid to East America, I guess 5 hours, because that's roughly what it is. It might be a little bit different, but that's what I'd guess for us in the UK. Obviously, if you're listening in America, well, you'll have a better idea than we will what it relates to in your own sort of local time. So details of that.
The squad's been released. I saw this the other day. Although there are still 3 spaces for players to be added before the deadline, you've put here.
I have put it
because I didn't know that. But David Jones.
That was the point I wanted to raise, actually. So there are 3 spaces left that they haven't claimed.
They haven't come for you.
They haven't come for me yet, but I'm here. Give me a shout. Because Ryan and Rob could fill 2 of them 3 spaces, couldn't they? Potentially. Do you get what I mean? That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know why. I mean, I'm not sure they'd even heard of football a couple of years ago, so how good they would be.
Yeah.
Depends how serious they are about the tournament. If they're doing it for a bit of fun, then yeah, fair enough. But
What's the likelihood we're going to win the $1 million?
I don't know, if I'm honest. I've got no idea. It's different. If you go the FA Cup, what's the likelihood? And I could answer that question. This, I haven't got a clue.
No.
Not
Has it
a
ever
clue.
been done before?
No, I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
So, like I said, David Jones.
Yeah.
Little fact for you.
Yeah.
His brother was in my class in school.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. My
Right.
claim to fame.
Yeah.
Matt Jones. Right, Matt. He is player/manager, and he is the current coach at Wrexham.
He is.
So we
indeed.
sometimes, if you obviously go to the games, he'll obviously sometimes be on the
Yeah,
pitch doing the training, warming up with the guys. You've got Andy Morrell.
Oh, these two, the next two you're going to read out, I'm so excited
You were
about.
shocked when you read this, weren't you?
I'm so excited by
So
these
you've got
two.
Andy Morrell
Yeah.
and Lee Trundle.
Yes.
And
They were part of the 2003 promotion team to League One, so they were the two strikers that we had.
Lee Trundle goes on League.
Lee Trundle goes on anything that pays him.
No, what's the thing that we watched recently with Ellis James and
The fancy football thing on Sky.
Yeah, it's quite funny that.
It is.
He comes and
Lee
sings.
Trundle loves a TV appearance. He loves going on Soccer AM. He's very great. I loved Lee Trundle.
So if we paid Lee Trundle, he'd come on our podcast.
Yeah, but we haven't got enough money to pay him, I don't think. But no, I loved Lee Trundle, loved Andy Morrell as well. Andy Morrell left us to go to Coventry, weirdly enough. But no, they were a great strike partnership. Loved the pair of them. Was really excited when I heard that them two are there.
Mark Carrington.
Do you know Mark Carrington?
Nope.
No. Okay, so he was at the club for about 8 years. 2013 onwards.
Right.
His claim to fame, I would say, is we played Stoke in the FA Cup. Me and my dad went to watch the game. It was 0-0 for a lot of the game. Stoke were in the Premier League. We went. We were in the National League at the time, I think. And we gave them a really good game. I think we hit the bar. And then Mark Carrington scored to put us 1-0 up, and it went absolute bedlam at Stoke. They brought on a couple of players later on. Peter Crouch was playing for him at the time. Stephen Ireland came on. And
I love how you went Stephen Crouch, because I know who he is.
Stephen Crouch?
Oh,
No,
sorry,
you
Peter
mixed the
Crouch.
names together.
Peter Crouch, and then the other person you just looked away because you know I haven't
You've
known
got
who
no
that
idea who it
is.
is, yeah. They came on, and I think they scored 3 late on, sort of like in the 80-odd minutes. It just wore us down in the end, and we lost 3-1. But amazing game that I will always remember, and especially going 1-0 up at Stoke, it was great. I think it has now been superseded by the Coventry game. I think because we actually managed to get the job done against Coventry, so probably.
Yeah.
But at it is one of my best memories going to Stoke. I loved it. Me and my dad went on the bus. We got a police escort to the ground.
Walking?
No, on the bus. Got a police escort into the ground. So no, it was good. It was good. Anyway.
Paul Rutherford.
Yes.
Has he got ginger hair?
No, he hasn't.
No, I'm mixing him up with somebody else then.
So everyone will know Paul Rutherford because, apart from my wife,
And new fans, obviously.
no, they will know him
Why
because
will they?
Paul Rutherford was on the Welcome to Wrexham documentary. He was the guy on one of the very first episodes when we were playing Dagenham. He's the one who got sent off. And he was in the dressing room and he was sort of in tears and he's really angry with himself for what happened.
Yes, I remember now.
And then he got released by the club not long after that. But that's Paul Rutherford.
The moral of the story is don't get sent off during a game or you will get sold.
Yeah. We've also got Dan Jarvis, who you will know.
I know who Dan Jarvis is.
You know Dan Jarvis. So he left us in the summer of 2022 to go to Gateshead. And he's been out.
Was he on loan or did he leave us?
Are you all right there, fiddling with you there?
Sorry, it's getting on my nerves. Sorry, I do apologise.
Then he went from Gateshead on loan to Hereford.
Right.
So he's been on loan at Hereford for this season, and he has now gone back to Gateshead, and it is yet unknown what.
They'll be playing today, Gateshead.
Yes.
In Wembley.
Yesterday, for anyone listening to the podcast.
Sorry, we record this on a Sunday, so if I say yesterday, sorry.
So who have we got in goal?
Wow, this is a bit, we've got Mark Howard.
Yeah.
Which I'm pleased about.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't really know.
Yeah, good, Mark Howard. Thanks.
I'm not sure where I was going with that, to be honest.
So we got Scott Butler. you'll know Scott. He's currently at the club. You maybe not know him.
I know his face, but I don't think
I think he played in the FA Trophy for us.
I think he did.
Yeah, at Altrincham.
Yes,
so he was with us. He went to Swansea, and then he played for their sort of under 18s, under 23s, under 21s maybe, and then we signed him back. So he's a good young player. Decent. And then there's two guest players. I'm going to skim over these because, again, I don't think you're going to know who these are. But one of them's George Boyd. So he's a Scottish player. He played for Peterborough. I think most of his career was Peterborough, but I know George Boyd from playing for Burnley. So he played for Burnley for a few years. And then the other player is Liam Grimshaw.
Is he in Coronation Street?
No. He is a former Man United youth player. He's played for Motherwell in Scotland and is currently playing for Green at Morton in Scotland at the moment.
Are they like, no, I've never heard of them.
So the thing I found a little bit odd was how did we, why these two? Why are these two the guests? Do you get me? So you've got loads of ex-Wrexham players, you've got two guests, why pick them?
Did they ever play for Wrexham?
No. So I don't know what the affiliation is with the club.
There's got to be something, hasn't there?
There must be something somewhere. Yeah, it's a very random pool of players to be dipping into, isn't it?
Very, very, very,
Yeah.
very.
So yeah, that's it really. So yeah, great. Good luck. I wanted to talk briefly about two clubs. We have got a fan forum today, so we've got a guest coming on. But we obviously every week we talk about a couple of clubs that we're going to be playing next season. This week I wanted to talk about MK Dons, and if you're talking about MK Dons, you've got to talk about Wimbledon. So the MK stands for Milton Keynes,
which I actually didn't know.
So there you go.
That's how thick and new I am.
Now the reason you've got to talk about Wimbledon in the same breath is in 2003, Wimbledon were controversially relocated to Milton Keynes from Wimbledon in London and continued to play as Wimbledon until 2004 when they changed their name to MK Dons. The Dons is a reference to Wimbledon's nickname, the Dons. Okay, that's where the Dons bit comes from.
Right.
They play at Stadium MK, which holds 30,000 people. The reason for such a large stadium is they had very large, grandiose ideas of what was going to happen. A lot of people call them franchise FC because they just got shifted from one city to another. They had these big ideas that they were going to end up in the Premier League, so they built a massive 30,000 stadium. As it turns out, they're in League Two next season, so it doesn't really pound out for them.
We'll fill that stadium.
There's a 3,000 away allocation.
We'll fill that.
Yeah, and but it has been 8,000 before. In 2018, I think Coventry took 8,000 there, so they do have the capability to actually do it. It's 138 miles away. It's just under 3 hours for anybody planning on going there. They play in white. They finished 21st on 45 points from 46 games last season and were relegated from League One when Cambridge won on the last day of the season and MK Dons only drew, so Cambridge leapfrogged them. Their top scorer was Mo Issa, and he was actually linked with Wrexham in January. So another one that's just been linked with us. So that's a brief rundown, a very brief rundown of MK Dons.
Yes.
And obviously in the same breath, AFC Wimbledon. Ollie Palmer. Yeah. So
he was there before he came to Wrexham, wasn't he? That was his team,
that's where we signed him from. So AFC Wimbledon were formed in 2002. So there was in 2002 the relocation thing
debacle
happened, and it was discussed. Wimbledon fans were furious. They were like, you can't take our club away to Milton Keynes, which is however far away up the motorway.
It's not even like London way, is it?
No. So they were furious. So the supporters formed another club. They couldn't call it Wimbledon because Wimbledon was still being used by the team playing was still going to be used by the team playing in Milton Keynes.
Crikey.
So they called themselves AFC Wimbledon instead. A very subtle change, but that it's allowed. That's, as long as your team name is different, it is allowed. So they started in the Combined Counties League Premier Division, which is the 9th tier of English football. So that's where they started. They got 5 promotions in 9 seasons, and ended up in League 2.
Wow.
Pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive. What league were they in when Ollie, were they League?
Well, a further promotion after they've spent 5 seasons in League 2,
Yeah.
and then got another promotion up to League 1.
And that's where
we bought Ollie from, League 1, which is where they were relegated a couple of seasons ago. So they play at Plough Lane, although currently, it annoys me, but it's called the Cherry Red Records Stadium.
Why?
For sponsorship purposes.
But fans will know it as
Plough Lane.
Play? Plough.
It's in southwest London, obviously, where they play the tennis. Yeah?
Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah.
SW19, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 191 miles away, so it's a 4-hour drive for
Is
us.
that somewhere where we'll be going?
Maybe not, because there's a lot of places. I'd love to go to all of them, but that just isn't possible for us. So I would love...
Especially if it's on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. So do you want to run through some facts about the ground for us?
So, they have got a capacity of 9,215.
Decent size.
Yep, their away capacity is 1,465, which is rubbish, but
It's not really, is it?
It is, because we would take...
What do we give?
It's not,
We don't give loads, do we? Do you know what I mean?
Because we have so many home fans that want to come to the games.
Yeah.
So they finished 21st on 48 points.
Yeah.
They were 5 points above the relegation zone.
Yes, they were.
Their top scorer is Ethan Chislett.
Chislett.
It's either Chislett or Chislett.
Chislett, I think. Chislett.
Chizzy.
Chizzer.
Oh, Chizzy.
Ethan Chiz. The Chister.
Anyway.
Chizzy. Yeah, go on.
And as we've said, Ollie Palmer signed from AFC Wimbledon there. He was there from 2020 to 2022.
Yeah.
So during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, if you like.
I mean, who doesn't, when you're talking about 2020, who doesn't say during lockdown, during COVID?
Yeah.
Because that is what the year was.
So that's why a lot of people may not know the story of the MK Dons and Wimbledon. So.
Darren mentioned it last week.
He did.
On last week's podcast. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's now live. And he said that he looked into what the rivalry was between MK Dons, and that obviously is a reason.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. So
yeah, like I said, they call them franchise FC. A lot of people in a derogatory sort of way, because they just went, right, we're taking that club from there and we're going to dump it over here. Now, a lot of American listeners, to them, that isn't completely unusual, because you do have, like in the NFL, for example, they are franchise. You'll have teams who have been in the location that they are for years and years and years since they very first started. Green Bay, for example, they've played in Green Bay.
The Green Bay Packers.
Yes, so they've been there since the very beginning.
Yeah.
But then you've got people like the Rams. So it used to be the St. Louis Rams, and then they're now the LA Rams. You've got the Raiders, who used to be the Oakland Raiders, the LA Raiders, and then and they're now the Las Vegas Raiders.
You hate me, don't you?
Yeah. So you do have teams who, in this way, that they just pick the franchise up and move it to somewhere else. In English football, that doesn't happen.
Well, it does.
Well, it does, but it just doesn't. That's why MK Dons are very much singled out as the sort of team that everyone doesn't really like very much, because they've got no history. They're no real club. They haven't taken Wimbledon's history with them. People don't acknowledge that. They were formed in 2002, and people just are like, nah, there's not having it. So that's the reason, basically.
So we don't like Milton Keynes.
Well, you can like them if you want. It's up to you.
Well, I don't dislike anybody. Well, I do, actually.
So, last week we had our very first fan forum.
We did.
So we had Darren on,
From Massachusetts.
from Boston, yeah, and
Should have said Boston, it was easier.
yeah, and we had Andy on as well, local guy, supported Wrexham for years, and it was great. We had so much fun doing it, so much so that we were doing exactly the same thing this week. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, so we had 2 people booked to come on today. We had one guy who's a local guy, again, been a fan for years, and another guy from the States who's very much a new fan. Unfortunately, the local fan got called into work last minute and he's had to cancel, which is disappointing, but it's
life, isn't it? It's
life and stuff happens. But fear not, we still have a guest on this week. This guy's name's Tim. And Tim is from Saginaw in Michigan. I have no idea if I've said that right.
Well, we can ask him, can't we?
We can do, which is, I think it's quite close to Detroit.
Saginaw.
Detroit-ish area, I think, Saginaw is. Anyway, just baffling on. Welcome to Me, the Wife from Wrexham AFC. Tim, how are you doing?
Thank you. Great this morning. Oh, this afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that right? Saginaw? Saginaw, is that right?
Saginaw.
And is it quite close to Detroit? Because my geography isn't great.
Not too bad. About an hour and a half north of Detroit.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So are you?
So we are close to Canada.
Yeah. Are you a Lions fan, or being that close, or not so much?
Yeah, Lions is my football team per se, but I am more a soccer fan.
Okay.
Or football fan.
Yeah.
My team for years have been Chelsea, because my boys are Man United fans. But I chose Chelsea years ago because they both played soccer, high school, travel. And I am the black sheep of Michigan. I like football more than American football.
Okay.
So I do have it on this morning. I listen to it all the time at work. I listen to your podcast. I enjoy it. The action. It's almost like hockey on grass.
Yeah.
My boys play lacrosse now, and I just need, the fast pace.
Yeah.
Football, American football is too slow.
Yeah. It's very, yeah. Well, I think that's why a lot of sort of British people struggle with the NFL, because of how sort of stop-start it is. Especially sort of, our football fans. They're used to, you get throw-ins and free kicks and things like that, but you don't particularly get breaks in play. It sort of, play can go on for 10, 15 minutes with no break at all, whereas the NFL is one play, stop. So yeah, I think that's why a lot of Brits do struggle with that. With regards to Wrexham, Tim, so how did you first become aware of Wrexham AFC?
Well, I follow soccer online, or football online, and I just happened to see the article where Rob and Ryan were looking for a team. And I know a lot of people, and maybe Wrexham, thought it was a joke. But I follow Ryan a lot in his business, and I know, I was following him quite close. And as far as I can see, it's, well, as you know, he turned the team around, the town around. I like the story about the town, and how they came in to help the team out when they had financial struggles. I did not know McElhenney. I didn't watch Philadelphia, Sunny in Philadelphia. Still haven't, but he has took on the Welsh culture, and I saw articles online. I could see him moving there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's always over there. But I don't know. It's just a great story. Everybody likes the story of a down and out team and bringing back the town, the community. So
yeah, it's a definite sort of like Phoenix from the Flames sort of story. Yeah, I'd say. What was the first game that your Wrexham game that you watched? I know you said you'd sort of followed football for years, but what was the first game that you watched?
To be honest, to watch them on TV over here was probably the ESPN. They covered it.
Yeah.
I do have a different job than my full-time job, and I listen a lot on Wrexham Player. So I listen. That's how I first listened to them, was online. But it was great to see them on TV. The crowd, the fans, you guys are just awesome. And I do tend to message you guys a lot, like, hey, I seen you in the crowd, or just joking around.
Yeah.
And you guys are probably like, man, this guy's like blowing me up. So sorry about that.
No, keep on doing it. It's fine.
Yeah, we
keep
love
on
it.
Doing it.
We love it. We love it.
So we've got the TST tournament. Is that what it is? TST tournament? I can never know what it's called.
Well, you've said the word "the" twice and the word "tournament" twice. TST is the soccer tournament.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We've got okay.
So it's not the soccer tournament. No. TST.
So we've got the TST. It might be in the USA, obviously, as you know, but it's probably about a 12-hour drive for you. Have you been tempted to, have you been tempted by it to do that 12-hour drive?
I have a friend that he was like one of the first ones to get tickets, and I should have, because it's my, Chelsea and Wrexham. But no, right now I have a child graduating from high school, going to college. We have that financial burden. So no, I will be definitely watching and rooting. To be honest, I will be rooting for Wrexham.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about sort of League Two. So obviously we're going to be in League Two next season. I've been having a little look this week, and Wrexham have, with the bookmakers, with the bookies, Wrexham are now favourites to win League Two, which is crazy. And Notts County are second favourites. Now that's quite unusual for a team to have just been promoted, and two teams to have come up and to be the first and second favourites to win the league. Do you sort of go along with that? Do you think we're definitely sort of one of the favourites, the favourites to win the league next season?
Yes, with the firepower that Wrexham has, and financial backing, and with the transfer window June 14th, I believe. They will probably pick up another great player. I don't know who that might be, but I'm sure they're going to pick up somebody. But with the talent that they have already, my gut feeling, Foster will sign again for at least another year. That's a great story, because I'm almost 50. He's older for a football player, so it's like, we have the great,
Yeah.
It's uncanny. You look just like him.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. With the 1-2, I agree with that. And with everything I'm hearing and reading, it's harder to get out of the National 2 League One. And I would say about 5 years, I'm hoping they would be in the Premier League.
Well, that was my next question. I was going to say, do you think, obviously Ryan's been quite vocal about getting into the Premier League. Do you think those ambitions are realistic, or do you think, it might take a little bit longer than 5 years to, get up there?
That's my gut feeling, is 5 years. They may need some more, of course they're going to need more firepower, as in the players, but the financial backing, I could see them bringing in maybe somebody else. But with the two of them, I think it'd be just fine. Like the Cop's being built. I know they want to make the stadium. They're not going to move the stadium. They're just going to have to make it larger to fill the capacity. Because what is it, 10,000 people? Yeah. So I'm sure they're going to add on some way. They're not going to move the stadium. They just can't. They shouldn't. But they need more fans in there to generate revenue. So yeah, 5 years is my gut feeling.
Well, welcome to the show, Tim. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll come back to you in a minute. So we did the rumour mill last week, didn't we? We talked about rumour mill. So this week, sort of got, well, we were going to talk about Tom Glover, which is a great name for a goalkeeper, by the way.
Oh my God, I didn't even know. I
yeah,
didn't even
it is.
twig.
But he has, on more than one occasion, quashed that rumour this week. Anyone who doesn't know who Tom Glover is, he's the fan who got attacked with a bucket. Do you know this? If you just, honestly, just put Tom Glover into YouTube, it'll be the first video.
A fan, he got attacked by a fan?
By a fan with a bucket, yeah. Basically, someone threw a flare on, he threw it back, and then there was a pitch invasion, someone threw a bucket at him. Anyway, that's Tom Glover, anyway.
Yeah, I think
so he's 25 years old. I'm not going to talk about that, but the reason I brought it up is I wanted to talk about our goalkeepers. So Rory Watson and Kai Calderbank Park have been released. Ben Foster's yet to make a decision. The Tom Glover rumours obviously dead in the water. So at present, it leaves us with Mark Howard and Rob Langton.
Yep.
They're both in contract until June 2024.
Yep.
Mark's 36. He's 37 in September.
Yep.
Rob is 33, 34 in October. Where do we go, basically? Do we try and get another season out of Ben? Or do we pursue someone younger, like Tom Glover, 25, I think he is. Do you go someone younger, do you pay a bit of money? Or do you stick with something that, that maybe you've got? Actually, let's not ask you. Tim, what's your opinion on this? What do you think?
I would like to see Foster stay for another year. They're all great goalies that you've mentioned. And Foster just brings a different attitude to the with his professional background. And so, yeah, I think the goalkeeper position is solid. It's really, I was trying to look through some notes that I looked online, printed off. I don't know where there's kind of a soft position, that either if someone gets hurt, there's always somebody to fill it. Even the younger players, they just need the experience, and they have the older players to help them out.
Yeah, definitely. This week we had, this week just gone, we've had the retained and released list. Sort of that's been released as such. So some players that have been released, we've got Ryan Austin, Kai Calderbank Park, and Rory Watson, who we've already mentioned today. Malik Dykesdale, Rhys Johnson, Jake Hyde, Harry Lennon, Tom Jenkins, Dan Jones, Louis Lloyd, and Will Mountfield. Now, a lot of them players won't just be you, Tim. It'll be Sian as well. Won't even know who they are because they're very much in the in the background. I think that the main ones that you're sort of looking at there is obviously Rhys Johnson and Harry Lennon are two that have been released. Now, Harry Lennon hasn't technically been released. He's decided to retire from the game due to the injuries that he's had. How do you feel about, because obviously with the games that you've been listening to, Tim, you would have heard Rhys Johnson being mentioned quite a few times. He played in the Coventry FA Cup game, obviously, as well. And he's been a great player for us. When you see players getting released, does that make you, how do you sort of feel about that? Is it, I asked this question last week. Are you a bit of a realist and going, look, you're always going to get players who get to the point when they have to leave? Or does it still make you quite sad that we just can't hold on to everybody?
It does, because, they're young and they have the fame of two great owners. The town is exploding. I'm sure they want to be part of the journey. And then to get that call into the office, they're probably just heartbroken.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is. It's one of them. I'll ask you, look, Liam McAlinden.
Yes.
So he's been offered a new contract That's in the pipeline. Does that surprise you?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm honest, I would have thought Reece Hall-Johnson stay, Liam McAlinden go.
Yeah.
But obviously, there must be a reason why Parky's decided to keep him.
I think maybe McAlinden's a little bit more versatile. He can play in a couple of different positions, and maybe we're a little bit weaker on the left than we are on the right, because obviously we've got we've got Ford and we've got Barnett as well.
Yeah.
So maybe that's his thinking, that he wanted to keep Liam. Do you know much about Liam McAlinden from the games that you've seen? Has he featured in a lot of games that you've sort of seen, Tim?
Not that I can recall off the top of my head.
So for somebody like that you're not really massively aware of, does it sort of shock you that with the big, massive sort of released list that we've got, that somebody like that might be offered a new contract? Is that a bit odd to you?
Yeah. Right. So, like you said, Parky must see something.
Yeah.
So, Tim, obviously we're coming into sort of transfer season, and you sort of touched on it that we're quite strong in most areas of the team at the moment. I think it's only natural that we're going to pick up a few players. Me personally, I don't think we need loads of players. We've brought in a lot from sort of League One and League Two. So we're already pretty set. But looking around the team, do you think there's anywhere that you would go, oh, okay, I'd like a little bit of cover there or a little bit of cover there? Maybe not necessarily someone who's going to come in and start week in, week out, but maybe that you think, well, if he wasn't there, who's going to come in? Any sort of positions that you'd be sort of worried about?
Not really, because the striker, you have great strikers.
Yeah.
The defense is solid. If you go from goals against, it's just like I said, I don't see, they could, if somebody was available, like there's always say like Gareth Bale, but he's like, no, I'm gonna go golfing. So that'd be great for publicity, and he's probably still an awesome player. Do we need him? Sure, if the price was right.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
nobody stands out.
No,
I've actually seen a lot of people saying, why are we, you've got all these older players from like other teams saying, oh, I'd like Robson Carno. He's saying, oh yeah, I play for Wrexham. There was somebody else who said, yeah, I play for Wrexham. But a lot of fans are saying, why are we, I think I read somewhere that someone said we're not a retirement home.
Yeah.
So why, we just, it seems like all the other older players are trying to get that publicity because of who our owners are.
Yeah.
But I definitely think we should be, if we're going to be bringing in players, we should be bringing in the young players, and get them to where they need to be for the future.
I think a lot of it though as well is a case of, you've got these people putting things out on Twitter, ex-players, retired players going, oh, I'd play for Wrexham. That isn't really anything to do with Wrexham, is it? This is these players, so Phil and all his team will have in their minds, oh, right, okay, yeah, we've seen that, we're not interested, and we'll move forward, and we've got our own little strategy of what we want to do, I would say.
Yeah.
Just for anybody who wants to get in touch with us, you can get in touch on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or email us at me, the wife, and Wrexham AFC. If you want to be part of our fan forums in the same way that Tim is this week, drop us a little message, come on, and we can have a little chat. It doesn't matter if you've been a fan for a week or you've been a fan for 40 years. It doesn't matter. We want a nice mix of everybody out there. It might be somebody who lives in Wrexham but can never get a ticket to a game. Someone who's got a season ticket. It doesn't matter. We want to speak to absolutely everybody.
Women fans as well. We need women fans.
We do, because we have a lot of people lined up and they're all men.
Yes.
So with the women's game booming at the moment, we'd love some more women on. Just a quick shout out for Dragon Chat as well before we do the quiz. Tim's going to stick with us for the quiz, I think. So Dragon Chat is a mental health peer support group. They run a weekly Zoom call on a Thursday, and that's 7 p.m. till 8:30. They release the details of that on Facebook and Twitter on a Thursday. So head over there and you can get on it. It's a brilliant service. Anybody who's struggling with their mental health and they want to talk to somebody, head over there. So, are both of you ready for the quiz this week?
I've got a feeling that Tim's going to do better than me.
Well,
Thanks for the pressure.
I will explain what we're going to do. It is, so last week we had a gentleman called Darren on, and Darren made a suggestion to us, not on the podcast, separately. He made a suggestion, why don't you do as one of your quizzes, 2 lies and 1 truth? So...
That's what we're doing.
I have stolen that idea and I am doing 2 lies and 1 truth.
Okey-doke.
So basically, I will read out, there's 5 of these in total. I will read out 3 statements.
Yep.
Not 2, 3 statements. 2 of them are lies. I just need you to pick out the 1 truth. Okay. Both happy?
So we're going to answer each and then you're going to tell us?
Yeah. I'll answer. You can both answer. So, question number 1. Jordan Davis played 14 games on loan at Bangor City. Okay. Number 2. Elliot Lee has played for both championship playoff finalists, Coventry and Luton. Or is it number 3? Wrexham's first ever manager was called Peter Chester. So, Sian, let's come to you first. Which one do you think?
I think the Jordan Davis one.
You go in the Jordan Davis one?
Yeah.
Tim, which one do you want to go for?
I'm going to say number 3.
Number 3, the first ever manager was Peter Chester. Well, one of you've got it right. It's Sian. Sian's got that one right. So yeah, Jordan Davis did play for Bangor City. So number 2. Jacob Mendy is the only squad player born outside the UK. Rob Lainton is older than Ben Tozer. Or Wrexham's first ever game ended in a 2-1 loss to 10 firemen. Bear in mind, I've made 2 of these up. I haven't tried to.
Okay.
So Sian, go on. You can go first.
I'm going to go with the Jacob Mendy.
Jacob Mendy is the only squad player born outside the UK. Tim?
I agree.
Yeah.
You agree? That's incorrect. So
What?
Jacob Mendy is not the only squad player born outside the UK. Owen O'Connell and Tom O'Connor are Irish, so they are not within the UK.
I forget.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
correct one is Wrexham's first ever game ended in a 2-1 loss to 10 firemen. That is true.
That was in like 1865 or
Something,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah.
back in the day.
Third one. Okay, so
What's the score so far?
you've got 1.
Oh.
Tim, unfortunately, hasn't got any as yet.
Yeah, you might have to cut this
Still
portion out.
time, don't worry.
oh,
So, number 3. We beat Boreham Wood 3-1 to win the league. That was the same scoreline as the reverse fixture in October. Paul Mullin scored 5 of the 8 goals we scored against Dorking this season. Or Wrexham have won the Welsh Cup a record 23 times.
I'm going to say 2.
Paul Mullin scored
Yeah.
5 of the 8 goals we scored against Dorking. Tim?
I'll agree.
Okay, you're going to agree. You would both. Don't follow Sian, Tim. Don't follow Sian. No,
Am I wrong?
that you're wrong. So
Oh.
Paul Mullin didn't score 5 of the 8 goals we scored against Dorking. He only scored 1 against
It
Dorking.
just sounds so realistic.
The Boreham Wood one, that's incorrect as well. We didn't beat them 3-1 away. It was 1-1. So we have won the Welsh Cup a record 23 times.
Boo.
Number 4.
I'm booing you, not
Yeah.
not the awards.
So, Wrexham are well known for their red shirts, but prior to adopting that colour, they played in white, black, blue and green. Not all at the same time, just at separate times.
That's a curve.
Before playing in red for the first time in 1959.
Okay.
Wrexham reached the quarter-final of the FA Cup in 1974, 78 and 97. And the first game in front of the new Mould Road stand was a charity game between the Wrexham Police and Chester Fire Service.
This is all you.
I'm going to go the first one.
So the Wrexham red, the shirts in
Yeah.
red. Tim?
I'll say number 2.
Number 2. Tim, you're correct. It is number 2.
Holy
So Wrexham
moly.
reached the quarterfinals of the FA Cup in 74, 78 and 97. The first time Wrexham played in red was 1921, not 1959. They did go back to blue for a bit and then switched permanently to red in 1939. The first game in front of the new Mould Road stand, haven't got a clue, just made that up. So, no idea. The last one, so this is 1-1. So this is actually, it's quite tense. So, last one. Welcome to Wrexham was originally going to be called Rise of the Dragon. Tom O'Connor received more yellow cards than James Jones last season. The old floodlights were originally installed in 1955. Sian.
I'm going to go with the first one.
Wrexham, the documentary was originally going to be called Rise of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Tim?
Those are good ones. I'll go with number 3.
Number 3. So the old floodlights were originally installed in 1955. Tim, that is incorrect. It was 1959. The documentary, that's incorrect as well. It was always going to be Welcome to Wrexham. So Tom O'Connor did receive more yellow cards than James Jones last season. He had 5 and JJ only had 4.
Oh, 1-1.
Oh, 1-1. Oh, I wish I had a tie-break question now, but I don't. Oh, never mind. Well, I just want to say thank you very much to Tim for joining us this week, and thank you to all of you lot as well. We've had lots of fun doing these. It's amazing. So we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.